The agriculture sector in most African countries is a really significant part of the economy. I mean, in Kenya, I think more than 50% of the economy is dependent on agriculture directly and even more indirectly. The AgriFI Kenya Challenge Fund was a 6-year program from 2018 to 2024 with a grant size of around 18 million euro.
AgriFI Challenge Fund was one of its own kind in the Republic of Kenya that was being implemented through companies to get down to the smallholder farmers.
The EU gave a grant to Self-Help Africa, who was the grant manager, and Self-Help Africa did various calls for different companies to apply for to receive grants.
I am happy that the program has been able to work directly and impact around 192,000 smallholder farmers across different value chains.
Nyeto na ram nyeno dakutoto nanti damar ban itu mano kulga sugulo nusu ban itu kulga sugulo itu no naga amir dele goli.
Shida ya watu hapa ni poverty. Most of them wanategemea tu wanyama, hakuna kazi. Kitambo hatukuwa tunajua gama Arabic ilikuwa iko na faida. So baada ya kupata information kuhusu gama Arabic, tukapata kampuni inaitwa AgriFI, tukatrain collectors, wakaniletea mimi. Sasa nilikuwa na exchange na food na pia naizalipa pia cash kununua. Alafu kampuni yenyewe wanakuja kuchukua kutoka kwangu.
We formalized the gama Arabic value chain in Kenya. Right now we are working with collectors in 5 counties in northern Kenya. We collect, buy and come and process in the export processing zone, and we export to the European Union. So what the fund helped us do is we used the resources now to build up the capacity of the collectors, to organize them into groups, and us, we focused on the actual purchase of the gum from them.
Through AgriFI, we've been able to train over 7,000 collectors, of which 60% have been women and youth.
Between 2012 and 2015, we did only 5 tons of gum. That's 3 years. Right now, after this partnership with AgriFI, we are doing an average of 20 tons per week.
As AgriFI, we believe the agents are the central cog of the organization, in that without them, we would not be in business. We may ensure that we do prepayments to these agents to ensure that they have enough float, or they are liquid enough to continue buying the gum Arabic from the collectors.
Sasa maisha yao imebadilika kwa sababu zamani walikuwa wanakuja kuandika chakula ya watoto. Lakini siku hizi hawezi andika chakula ya watoto, na pia wamepata mabiashara yao, wanafanya polepole kwa sababu hiyo gam.
And the reason why this partnership with the European Union through the AgriFI Challenge Fund has been very successful is because of that sort of dovetailing. Let the private sector do what they do because they have a profit motivation, and that profit motivation results in economic, social and environmental impact.
I think the approach of entering through the private sector, working through companies that are established and functional, has been very positive, and we think the program has been a success. But really the biggest difference was that their incomes had increased massively, and that of course makes a difference to every aspect of someone's life.
Wakati nilipata hii biashara, ikaanza kuninua. Nikajenga, nikanunua drum ya maji, nikajenga store. So imenisaidia sana.
Mbere tuoĩ kahũa nĩ gathuri, so ona tũtiakoragwo na interest nako. But kuma twambĩrĩria gũthomithio, niĩ personally ndoire ũndũ ũcio na ngĩambia kũ practice niĩ mwenyewe, na nĩ nyonete nĩ ũndũ mwega, ti ũndũ mũritũ. Nditanamenya ũhoro wa kahũa wega, gĩthomo wega, narĩ na kahũa gaka ka SL, na nĩ karĩ na challenges nyingĩ mũno, no rĩrĩa twamenyire ũhoro wa gĩthomo, tũkĩ-graft kahũa, rĩu tũkoragwo na rũirũ na gatirĩ na challenges.
It's a journey you have gone through with farmers from the farm up to the factory level to majorly increase the quantity and quality of the coffee produce and to see that the livelihoods of our farmers are improved through dieting and through having savings from their coffee proceedings.
Dennis is one of my key men who has assisted me to rise where I am. Because actually he comes here whenever I call him, I've got a problem, he comes and sorts it out with me. And actually he gives me the latest technology of how to do things.
We partnered with CMS last year, April, and we signed an MOU on AgriFI project, which consists of eco-pulper, metallic drying tables, solar dryer, tiling of fermentation tanks, and solar power.
The project has actually helped this factory greatly by reducing the cost of labor, cost of electricity, and cost of drying our coffee.
CMS assisted us in applying for the Rainforest Alliance standard, and we were audited. We passed, and therefore now we have the certificate. And when we take our coffee to the mill, it is marked Rainforest Standard certified, and therefore it has got a special market.
The EU is the biggest export destination for Kenyan agricultural products. Is about reaching market standards so that you can export to higher value markets.
With this AgriFI project, we have seen a great improvement in our farmers. There are farmers who had given up on coffee growing. We have seen them come back, and they are doing great in the terms of coffee production. In terms of coffee quality and quantity, we have seen a great improvement through the coffee that is brought to the factory.
Kuma twamenya ũhoro wa mũtaratara ũcio rĩu kahũa reke njuge nĩ tũteithĩkĩte mũno tondũ ona nĩko gathomithagia ciana. Tuonaga rĩu mbeca tũkũhota kũrĩhĩra ciana cukuru, na nĩkĩo tũrekĩrĩra kĩyo ũrĩmi-inĩ ũcio tondũ nĩ tũrona rĩu nĩ tũrateithĩka. Hapo mwanzo kulikuwa hakuna hiyo kampuni. Tulikuwa nazi zetu sisi tunauza tu rejareja na hawa mabroka hawa. Hizi broka hawa zilikuwa zinatutia hasara.
They were not getting fair prices for their produce. They weren't getting a consistent market as well. And that was the biggest challenge. So Kentis coming in, we more or less had to build the entire value chain. We had to start working with the farmers for them to understand their produce, for them to understand quality, for them to understand even the value of what they have.
Nazi zetu kule tunauza na wanakuja kutuelimisha vile mnazi unakaa.
Kutoka nishikane nao naona mabadiliko vile ile mafunzo yao. Naona mabadiliko, nilikuwa nikiangusha nazi kama 300, lakini imefika kikomo 600, 700.
So the intention of the Challenge Fund was to give Kentis a couple of things. The first was production capacity, so to help us invest in the machinery that we needed to get our product not only for the local market but the international market as well.
Since the start of this program, initially we started with 1,400 farmers. And we've grown our farmer base to around 4,200 farmers currently. And what we have done is we've made sure that we are bringing women on board in terms of sensitizing on gender-related activities or gender-related responsibilities.
The second thing was to invest in the farmers, so the training of farmers, getting them to be climate resilient, or the trees to be climate resilient, teaching good agricultural practices and organic where possible, just so that we can get the produce that we needed.
Wanapatia mkopo, bora ujieleze, alafu wanakuelewa vile ambavyo unataka, wanakupa mkopo.
Ukihitaji kiwa kuna tabu, wawakilishi unaenda kuzungumza matatizo yako. Basi unatumiwa kile kiwango unachotaka.
There's a lot of potential. It's mostly coming from the certifications that we've been able to get, even through the Challenge Fund. We have invested a lot in our organic value chain, making sure that we have full traceability of our coconuts. There's a lot of opportunity, especially within the US and European markets. We are trying to tell our origin story, our impact story, and an African story, and that's where we are unique.
Wakati nilipanda maembe tukakuwa na changamoto ya market. Nilikuwa nikivuna maembe nyingi na nyingine yote inaoza kwa shamba. Hiyo wakati fati imeingia, hiyo changamoto ya sales ikafungua sana, kwa sababu ananunua maembe kutoka kwa shamba na wakulima, na through the cooperative ananunua maembe kwa bei mzuri.
That limited business model is hedged on sourcing our raw materials from smallholder farmers. Smallholder farmers in Kenya do not belong to the formal economy. So our responsibility is that to organize the farmers into commercial groups, deliver trainings to them so that they are able to produce and at the same time comply with the international food safety standards.
So we actually had to come up with a working model that ensures us as VAT get fresh fruits, good quality fruits without delays, and also the farmers are able to eliminate harvest and post-harvest losses.
The fund was also big about creating employment opportunities, especially for youth and women. So we sort of ticked the main boxes. The AgriFI Kenya Challenge Fund was also very emphatic on how our approach is to mitigate negative climate change impacts. We try to promote climate smart adaptations.
Ikiwa ni mambo ya maji, tumeweka hii inaitwa terraces, tuna harvest water iingie kwa shamba. Hiyo tunafanya. Ikiwa ni hii ingine, tunapanda miti ingine kama hiyo unaona hapa, ili kutengeneza hii climate ya area hiyo iwe okay.
Having more ecological practices can also then impact the quality of your soil, how much you produce the next year, and so on. So it's really, it can be really a win-win to have better agroecological practices, also in terms of finances.
They've been able to improve their livelihoods by doing better houses. Some have done other investments. We have farmers, for example, have started doing commercial livestock farming. So the impact has been huge, and it's actually very much visible in some of the regions that we've been active in.
When we look at social impact, we'll look at that in terms of number of jobs created, and then also income level of the producers and also the participating value chain actors. An example is the companies that have been working on the seed systems. And for example, the introduction of cotton back to Western Kenya significantly contributed to new jobs and a lot of income to those farming communities.
Initially, cotton was a forgotten crop because of various reasons. And one of the major reasons why farmers decided not to grow cotton is delayed payments, and as well as the yields of the composite cotton seeds were very low. But with the coming up of RVP, cotton growing has been seriously rejuvenated, and the farmers are speaking of the yields from 300 kilograms per acre to 1,000 kilograms per acre.
AgriFI osakonyo ngima nikech en gi jopuonj mabiro puonjowa kaka nego watim pamba. Omiyowa yath, omiyowa kodhi.
In 2020, Rift Valley Products attained a matching grant facility from AgriFI, whereby the partners jointly invested in cotton production and promotion under a blended finance model in 4 counties in Western Kenya, as well as in Keria Valley, Baringo County.
Rift Valley Products is part of the value chain actors. They contribute significantly to the cotton production in this country, particularly providing skills to the farmers. That is complementing the government effort in providing information to farmers.
The life, the standard of living of farmers who grow cotton has increased tremendously because they pay school fees, buy books, they buy clothing, they eat well. So that is what has encouraged so many people to plant cotton.
Rift Valley Products intend to remain in the cotton business, and the success of the AgriFI Rift Valley Products project has reinforced this. There's a huge potential to build upon, and Rift Valley Products are now planning to build a ginnery in Homa Bay which will be able to gin all the cotton in Western Kenya.
Smallholder farmers comprise the majority of the farming community in Kenya, and working with the smallholder farmers will benefit over 80% of the population in Kenya as opposed to large-scale commercial farmers.
Ukosefu wa soko ya matunda. Vyenye kulikuwa kubaya sana. Juu brokers walikuwa wengi sana. Hiyo ndio challenge ya kwanza yenye tulikuwa tunapata kama wakulima. Huku unasikia wananunua matunda bei rahisi, very cheap price.
Oh, habari zenu wakulima.
There are several challenges that face smallholder farmers in Kenya and many parts of the world. One of them is that the technical knowledge of the production. The other challenge is the capacity to mobilize resources. And then there is the challenge of compliance for the market.
Sasa kupatana biofarm kutoka 2021. Biofarm mimi imenisaidia sana kama mkulima kwa maana soko wananunulia matunda vizuri. In fact minimum ni 80 shillings per kilo. Hawa wanatupega training mpaka ya health and safety. Ingine ni global gap. Hiyo practices za venye tunalima matunda, mambo na preparation ya shamba. Na mpaka sasa hivi tunafurahia juu wameanzia ile mtandao yao ya mafuta.
We collect everything from the farms because we collect fresh avocados for export. Those are avocado that meet the highest quality standards, and we also take the rejects for value addition that we use here for oil production.
At that time, we were working with about less than 1,000 farmers, and with the partnership with the Challenge Fund, we were able to increase our farmer in the supply chain to 6,000 farmers.
Lakini elimu yetu tumepata kutoka kwake, tumejua madawa huwa inadhuru afya yetu. Na then mpaka inaharibu soko. Juu sasa kama matunda ikienda huko, then rejected because of the chemical, hiyo inakuwa shida pia.
I would say as one of the beneficiary, AgriFI project is a program that has really helped provide a significant transformation of this company. It has created job opportunities. It has increased our income.
Mimi nitamaliza kusomesha watoto. Kama ni kashamba mzuri nitanunua. Juu kama vyenye wananipeleka hawataregesha. Nafikiria mimi nitakuwa mtu mwingine, yani nitakuwa nimebadilika kimaisha. So the project has created a lot of sustainability structures within the companies and also in terms of their relationship with the value chain actors. We have built very strong models of operation between the suppliers of the company, who are the farmers, through the introduction of trade agreements.
In Kenya, the agriculture sector does bring a lot of wealth into the country and a significant contribution to jobs and GDP. And I think the future is something like the model of Self-Help Africa, in the sense that farmers should be better connected to the markets via a functional private sector, well-functioning companies that can help the farmers to achieve the levels of produce that are needed. I think Kenya is a great example of this, but that's how I see the future as well.